Hello, welcome back. Today I will be doing a reaction, well, basically a review of an Aurora interview with Genius. I think they do a great job, with interviews. And this time she's going to speak of her new song, right? Single, "The Cure for Me," which she's promoting, and she's doing her level best to promote it. She's doing a great job as well. That's why she has all, I think, these different versions of it. And I think it's really important to her, the message. So I'm really interested because she really, at this point, she's actually going to explain the lyrics, right? That's what they do here. And at least that's what she does, if I remember correctly from the previous song. So anyway, so let's hear what she has to say here. This is going to be something I always I look forward to it. I think I look forward to what she has to say as much as her songs, which, if that makes any sense, because they're just as mesmerizing, the things that she does, right? I think it's part of her mind. It's all like connected. The song and what she says, it's all one thing. Yeah.
The word kind of cure for me is very much inspired by conversion therapy, and that in so many countries it's still allowed, even in my own country, Norway, as people look upon as such a forward-going country. It's still allowed here as well. I just wanted to make an anthem, I guess, for people to sing along with, that they know they don't need a cure.
Aww.
To whoever out there who has been made to feel like they're just wrong just because people don't accept them for who they are, especially people in the LGBTQIA+ community, I want you to know that you never need a cure for who you are. All of us have some parts we should, work with on ourselves, but I think it doesn't take much before the world tells you that you're different and that you should change yourself to be the same as everybody else, which is very sad. This song was made very differently from many of my songs, which I think you can hear. It's a song that doesn't really make you cry. But,
Okay. It's funny because I think most of her songs are sad, right? Which is sort of funny. I haven't actually seen or heard a lot of her songs. I just heard a few. Like I said, I'm just enthralled by what I've seen so far. So I could just imagine the songs as well. So that's going to be interesting as well.
Makes you dance instead, which I don't often do. I have many sad songs.
Oh.
But this one is not, which is nice, I guess. I run from the liars, the fuel on the fire. I know I created myself. I've told many lies out there. I met a woman once in Bergen, and she said that I had a really nice dress on. And I said, "Oh, thank you. I got it from my mother when she was alive." And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. But then my mother is not dead."
Okay. This girl, that's why I made that reference to Alfred Hitchcock. That type of mind, that creativity, that genius aspect of certain minds. He also had a morbid sense of humor, obviously, to make the type of movies that he made as well, right? And somewhat, and I think that it's sort of, it's just, I think the way they see things, in a joyful, existential sense, if that makes any sense.
And but I thought it would be funny to, but of course it's not. I love you, mother. I know I can't fight the sad days and bad nights, but I never asked for your help. When I'm sad, I like to allow myself to be sad. I am very little afraid of sadness, and every emotion I come with, this body comes with. And it's okay if I can't do anything today. I will just be sad and maybe try again next week. And I try to also remind myself that I'm never the only person in the world going through this emotion. I'm a part of a big group of people going through the same things. Sadness is just one big emotion.
Yeah, the big group of people is called the human race. See, that's the whole idea, right? I think we all experience those things, and that's what makes us the human race. But I think the way she observes herself and the way she just is part of the experience. It's just the one thing for her, and that's what I think is really makes her, in my mind, somewhat unique, because she's living in the moment. That's the feeling that I have, you know.
Emotion that we all share and we all understand. So if you open up about it, most likely the person next to you will understand what you mean. I never asked people for help, but I guess it's kind of a strength and a weakness when you learn from a young age that you can take care of your own business and then you do that for your whole life. I've been offered help which I do not want, like medicine as a child, to sit more still in the classes or be able to pay attention.
That's for, I think, attention deficit disorder or something like that. Medicine for children, I don't know. But I remember my niece, one of my nieces, they were wanted to do that. They wanted to give her some medicine to calm her down or to make her more attentive in class or whatever, because she seemed distracted and so on. And then they realized later that it's because she was bored and she belonged to the next level class. So they promoted her to the next level instead. And then she became more interested. So we have to be careful about how, why, especially children, I would think, why they're behaving in a certain way. Maybe it's not what we perceive, and in her case, that's what it seems like. And then, actually staying in the same area, Norway, Magnus Carlsen, the chess champion of the world there, he's from Norway, and from my understanding, from what I've seen in documentaries, he also seemed quite peculiar, and they didn't understand him as a kid, and even the parents had trouble trying to figure out what kind of interest he had, and a lot of both in these two cases, and I don't know if I could include Angelina too, because I don't know if she had any issues or whatever, but it seems like the supportive family, well, all three of them have supportive families, and I think that also has to do with the social aspect of the society that they're in, right? In Norway, it's actually quite a wealthy society, wealthy country, and they have a nice safety net and social safety net, and so I think they take care more of each other from a countrywide, I would think. But at the same time, within their own families, they have this supportive nature. I don't know if it has. I have a feeling that it's very much related to that. If you're not as worried about let's say money or things like that, or you're more comfortable in some fashion or other, or there's less of a competitive spirit within the people, that people are more egalitarian, and it produces maybe a more relaxed environment, or more, I don't know, I wonder if that's the case. I would think so. I would think it would have a big influence, but I don't know. I'm not an expert in that.
You got hurt, but we don't belong together. Sometimes you have to be.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Just to finish off, Marcus Carlson, Magnus Carlsen, he became chess champion. And just later on, they figured out that his brain worked differently, and that's why his behavior was different. But I became chess champion. I mean, I remember seeing him playing. Seeing him in a documentary playing I think 10 chess games blindfolded against 10 university professors or something like that at the same time, and I think he won them all or something, or most of them. Imagine playing blindfolded and keeping track of 10 different chess games, let alone one. It's hard. It was, for most of us, it seems impossible. 10, how do you do that? Anyway,
Be the support, and sometimes you have to be supported when you know that you're trained.
Wait, good girl. What do you start talking about? Support.
To pay attention.
Okay.
You got hurt, but we don't belong together. Sometimes you have to be the support, and sometimes you have to be supported when you know that you're drained after just being with someone. It's a sign that maybe it's better for you to get away. And it's so easy, I think, to forget that you do have the choice to remove yourself from a group of people, or even your family or your town or a situation. You have the power, even though it's really frightening. And I just think it's an important thing to remember. So you took the love.
So I don't know if that trained, if she meant if you're being programmed and then you want to get outside that programming, you have to sort of step outside of the environment. I don't know if that's what she meant, but this girl.
From my arms into the arms of yours. I have had to break up with someone.
Oh.
I've never been broken up with, so that's still a life experience I'm looking forward to experiencing one day, maybe. I understand why people...
Okay, this is what I mean. She's living in the moment. She wants to experience things, good and bad, in the same way. She's just curious. That's a sign of intelligence, and she's a major intelligent, right? That she's never been broken up with, but she's broken up with other people and so on, and she's looking forward for the other way around. I don't know, how would she react? I really wonder if she was broken up with, which I have difficulty seeing for the foreseeable future that someone would actually break up with her. How she would react, would it be another Jagged Little Pill, like Alanis Morissette, or would it be something different? I don't know, but anyway, I'd be curious actually for that, but I don't want her to experience it either.
Need so much music about it. Because it looks like it's one of the most painful things.
See, I think there's a comedian, I think Amy Schumer, I think she mentioned something like that. She goes, when we're in our 20s, we're going hey, what's all these sad songs, romantic sad songs about, really? And then when you get in your 30s or close to them, then you start realizing what they're, so it's so she's 25, so but still, yeah. Anyway.
But I don't need a cure for me. Da 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 dee dee dee. I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me. Da da dee ba ba dee bee bee dee. I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure The line.
How could she sound? How she sound so good? You know, without any music or anything. She just incredible. You know, she enjoys everything she does, and I think that's the whole idea. You're right, right? And that's what she's sharing. She's sharing the joy of life, and that's what she has.
I don't need a cure for me is directed towards quite a lot of things. It's a weird thought that if you change important things about yourself that makes you you, if it's physical, if it's the way we are or the way we act or our sexuality or our love, if we suppress these things about ourselves, we will be like kind of glide through life much easier, because the second you fit in, you can have a much easier and happier life, which I think is so sad. It's really sad. It really upsets me how many people feel this way. And I feel like most of us are in a kind of abusive relationship, if it's with ourselves, with our own kind of self-hatred, if it's with religion, if it's with social media, making us feel bad about ourselves every single day. So yeah, it's definitely a thing I feel we need to say more.
I agree. It's funny how she says it and all like with a little smile, right? But her thoughts are so profound, and she makes them sound so light, you know. That's, I think, her quite a bit of talent that she has there, and I think that's why people listen to her, because she's like a feather, you know. She's like a feather with no, it would be a feather. You know the feathers that you write with. What are they called? Anyway, and anyway, she writes these beautiful ideas in the sky, type of thing, that I think we all sort of float to, because she's floating. You know, it's just. What do they say? The reason angels fly is because they take themselves lightly, something like that. So I think that's the idea here, and she's like that. She's very lighthearted, but extremely profound at the same time, and that's something else, you know.
I don't need a cure for me.
No, you don't.
I don't like the tension, the misapprehensions about our nature in love. I love confrontations. I think it's the lack of confrontations that creates tension. When you actually tell your truth, and when you speak your emotions, and when you confront your abuser, I guess, or whatever feels wrong in your life, then it's a good way of preventing an explosion. So I feel like those two things go hand in hand.
She's so smart, you know. It's just amazing. I continue to be amazed. Yeah, yeah, you know. The thing about truth is it's a funny thing, right? I mean, there's a reason it's part of the subtitle of my book. And truth is, I think it was Galilei, who said the truth is something that everybody wants to know, but nobody wants to hear. And look what happened to him, right? So, yeah.
Glorious teachers are no useful creatures who knows how to play with the gods. I don't like things that makes life feel less free, especially when it's about these wonderful, beautiful things as enjoyment or sex and love, because it's so beautiful. It makes life so great. I was very lucky as a kid because I had very good teachers. Even like the really scary and strict one had a lot of love in her when she spoke, you know, with kindness. She was very kind. And so I'm definitely very lucky to have had, like, just in school where I struggled quite a lot. I had good teachers.
See, this is what I mean. We're growing up, and she's growing up in a society where, like I said, it's supportive in different ways. And even she said, even her toughest teacher had love for her, and so on. I was listening to, and teachers are such an integral part of a child when they're growing up, right? They affect us so much, and or they can anyway, and we don't. Some societies don't put as much emphasis on teachers as others, right? Emphasis in the sense of reward them for their jobs, for the work that they do, and choose them correctly, and so on. Yeah, like for example, I've been watching the U.S. Open, well, at least parts of it anyway, and these teenagers have basically made the finals of the U.S. Open, and both of them actually were born in Canada, which is sort of funny. But one is British because she moved to England, I think, when she was young, and the other one, well, she's Canadian, and she was saying that the younger one, Fernandez, she was saying that because she's small, she's like half the size of the some of the players that she's actually defeated in the matches. But when she was growing up, she was recounting, this teacher. I think she had some kind of tennis class or something, and they had some kind of competition at the end of the class or whatever. But she told the teacher, "Well, I'm going to this tournament instead." And the teacher sort of probably, this is a reaction from being egoistic and so on. She probably took it badly, the teacher, and said, "No, you shouldn't go." Instead of like saying you shouldn't go, you should participate in the class. She basically told her Fernandez, from my understanding, that she would never become a professional tennis player. This telling a girl that's maybe, I don't know, 10 years old at the time or something. I don't know what age. Imagine that, right? So, but in this particular case, that sort of became sort of like a mantra for Fernandez, in the sense of like, I'm going to prove her wrong, But in many cases that doesn't occur. It's the other way around, that it could just as easily work the other way. And the negative doesn't necessarily push the person. It just makes the other person give up. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that in reference to what she was mentioning. She had supportive teachers, and again, it comes back to this supportive culture and families, and in Fernandez's case, she also has a very supportive family, which made up the difference, and which then later she started getting support from everyone, including other aspects of the tennis world and Tennis Canada and so on and so on. So yeah, at least that's what I understand.
You got nerves, but they never show unless they hurt. So you blamed it all on my love, the moving heart I got. I was blamed for things all the time. I think when I was a child, I got in trouble quite a lot, especially at school. It's hard when people don't understand just how bad your mind is at remembering things, and it's taken personal when it's not. It's just how badly my mind works. I once forgot.
Don't forget to read my book.
To put my shoes on, and I got yelled at by the teacher for like being a rebel. But I needed my shoes though. But it was after the summer holiday, and then I walked barefoot all the time. Please, no care for me. Please, no care for me. Care for me. A cure for me. Please, no care for me. Care for me. Care for me. Cure for me. Please, no care for me. Care for me. Care for me. We've always got.
How is it possible that she seems to have so much fun, you know, with her lyrics and with them just singing and just yeah. Imagine being in that mind for a second and just seeing the world from her point of view. It must be such a wonder, such a beautiful, beautiful, you know.
On more the Eastern route when it comes to figuring out how to heal your body in the most kind of patient and natural way. A lot of herbs in our house. My mother is kind of like a witch, a very good one.
A white witch.
And a very like an ancient woman. We drink a lot of flower tea. We drink a lot of green tea and chamomile. And we've used honey all my life to kind of heal my voice.
Good idea.
If I ever get tired, honey always just does the trick. And also like a spoon with a bit of honey and one garlic thing, and then a bit of vinegar. And we drink a lot of apple vinegar just to like clear the throat. And I do love acupuncture also.
What a mix.
It really works wonders.
Wait, what a mix. Honey, garlic clove, and vinegar. I wonder what that tastes like. Oh my god. But yeah, amazing. It's funny that she mentions honey does the trick, you know, because I was listening to Fernandez, you know, the young tennis star, uprising tennis star. She mentioned that the reason, because what happens is they asked her, how come like you have so many good players coming down from Canada, and Fernandez said, Leila Fernandez said, I think it's the maple syrup. So it's funny, you know, maple syrup, honey. I don't know, maybe it's the sugar. Sugar does. Sugar is. Well, no, it's not sugar. It's sugar, in a different sense, different type.
But I use a lot of flower medicine as well, like drops of flower essence. That does really good things for like the nerve system, or at least it feels like it does. And you need to know I don't need it, and you should know I don't need a cure for. And you need to know I don't need it, and you should know I don't need a cure for.
I believe you.
You need to know I don't need it, and you should know. And you need to know I don't need it, and you should know I don't need a cure for me. I buy things I don't need all the time. I think it's more a lack of that I don't have the things that I should have. For example, I have this really long, amazing feather boa scarf in the colors of the pride flag. Okay. But what I don't have is like a normal pair of scissors in my whole house. I don't have a ring.
See, I think this is the thing about her. I think like she forgets her shoes. Eccentric. That's the idea, you know. She's eccentric, which is normally, you know, I don't know, which I think is associated with that genius mind of hers. You know?
Raincoat, but I live in like the wettest city in the whole world.
Wait, she doesn't have raincoat.
But I do feather boa scarf in the colors of the pride flag. But what I don't have is like a normal pair of scissors in my whole house. I don't have a raincoat, but I live in like the wettest city in the whole world. But I do have many dresses that makes me feel like a fairy.
An elf.
And I also have like a really
Ferial.
cool cat feeding bowl, but I do not have a cat.
But she, but from what I remember correctly, she pictures herself at 73 with a cat, you know, petting her cat. 'Cause that would be her favorite age, 73, even though she's 25. She cracks me up, this girl. Yeah, she just cracks me up. Unbelievable. Anyway, this is fun. It's always fun to watch her do these genius interviews. You guys do a great job, and yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.